Hello, everyone. So today's session um, is going to be about local models and running system where you are more sovereign, more privacy, and so on, and building your sort of this idea of this second brain. Okay, how you manage your data, how you organize your data, and so on. Um, That's what I want to talk. So this is more of let's be all be beginners together and share what we learn, how we are exploring. So we should always remember that this is a new path for a lot of people, and because it's such a new thing, AI in general. Okay, everything that we are doing is so new that it's all experimentation. So you hear a lot of gurus on internet talking like this is, it's always been like this. This is many years of experience. It's not true. Okay? They don't exist, those many years of experience. This is new technology that change almost every day. So there is no experience. There is only exploration. And of course, your experience can help you navigate this frontier of unknown better than others, okay, according to your experience. So your intuition and so on, that is always good. But there is no proven way of doing things. We are discovering together with these frontier AI labs. Okay, we all there. And we see, because we see massive mistake done by Amazon, massive mistakes done by Anthropic, by OpenAI. They're all doing a mess. Okay, everybody's doing it, and when we do a mess ourselves, or maybe we lose, a few days of work. But we saw them losing millions. Okay, millions of dollars, and. That shows that this is extremely unstable for each one of us. So let's remember this. So don't get confused with those people that talk on internet with their certainty. This is how it is. You do this, this, and this, and works. You do this, always works. It's not okay. Everybody have their system getting broken, and everybody's exploring. So with this in mind, I want to share a little bit about what I'm doing as an explorer, and maybe more all of you knows better than I do, but I'm gonna share my exploration why I'm getting there. So, if you remember, a few months ago, we all started with this OpenClaw. Okay, OpenClaw gave us this multi-agent platform that we can use to build our custom sovereign AI. Now this OpenClaw is getting updated almost once every 2 days, and every single update managed to break something. Okay, then you spend a few days to fix it, and then they release the fix. I don't know if it happened to you, but my Telegram was completely broken. And then I spent 2 days fixing it with the AI going crazy and nuts, and then I managed to do it. And then literally an hour later, there was boom, new update, and the Telegram problem has been fixed. Good. Okay, I wasted 2 days basically fighting with my AI because I would say, look, it was working this morning. Why now it's not working anymore? Okay, what's going on? Why you can't just set it up like it was this morning? But then you realize that it was, other problems. Anyway, so that is the environment where we live in. Now I'm going to share the screen and show you a couple of things. So first of all, for those, I mean, doesn't seem that there is anyone new, but here, I mean, a part of, I don't know if I pronounce your name correctly, but Kaiser, that says that is at the beginning level, and now Victor. So a part of maybe a few of us, they are just at the beginning. Most of you already knows those things, but let's just have a quick look to some of those tools. Where is it? The sharing screen. Hi, Victor. Gone. I know you're there. So, hi, Victor. If you are if your camera works, please share it so we can see each other faces, and and I feel happy. Thank you. Ciao. All right, share screen. So okay, so this is what is this? Okay, great. This is me checking the. Let's see if it works. This is me checking. What's the name? Let's create a new chat. Uh, LM Studio. Okay, this is LM Studio. What you're looking at now, this is the share screen of the GX10 running on LM Studio with this local model, Gemma 4 26 billion. And I want to just so, hello, mate. I just want to show you how it looks like when you run a local model. And here you can click here and see, actually you don't click, you over, you see this, the token per second. Okay, at the moment it replied with the 53.64 token per second. That is all local, meaning this AI model runs on inside this computer and total privacy. Okay, this is a model done from Google, but if you click here, you can check other models. Look, it just came out. It said 19 hours ago, but it was not there this morning. So to run this kind of a model, like a 230 billion parameters, it's kind of complicated. So if you click on it, you can see if your system can run it. Okay, partially GPU offload possible. So you can try, but it's too big for my system. But you can see the others, and then you can read about the model and see if it's compatible with your system. So if you when you install this LM Studio, you can select you will see here which model can run, but for sure any system, any computer, you can run these two. Okay, the Gemma 4 E4B and the Gemma 4 E2B. Those can also run on a mobile phone. So think about. So everybody can run those ones. Then you will see the list of models that is possible to run on your system. You download and then you can load in the chat. Totally online. But we were just talking when we started this call that it's also possible to link them and run your personal computer. In my case, I have two other Macs, another Mac Mini and my MacBook Air that are connected to this system through the internal connection that LM Studio creates. So you can run your local model on this machine from a different computer. But then there is this other model, there's other system, you go in development and you can create a server where you actually can have API keys that you can give to softwares, okay, whatever software you want to use. And those API keys can be used to run a local model inside whatever other app, like OpenClaw, uh, LM Studio, sorry, anything LLM, and Hermes. So this is, I think, one of the best way to start exploring with local model. Then I want to share this other thing that I use. It's called Anything LLM. Okay, those are the software that I talk about in the video that I showed today on YouTube. This software is really similar. This is more similar to something like ChatGTP. Okay, I'm sharing at the moment. It's not working because I've been doing some change of models, but so I'm not gonna play. But I want to share one of this insane thing that happened to me. Okay, so I was just testing this local model, and I say, hey, and then the AI start thinking. Okay, it just start thinking and thinking about what to say. about, what shall I do? It just say, hey, what shall I do? Shall I wait? Actually, it's looking like, there's a lot of thinking just to reply
Wow,
to
that's
my
good.
hey. And then it's, still thinking, just a lot of processing. And then it still didn't decide what to say. Look at this. It's insane. Uh, and I must be no sycophant, no, no corporate speech. So because he has a prompt inside, so he needs to follow all those rules. And what's up? Look, look. At the end, you got the end of this. He didn't manage to reply. He finished the token available for for the context, and he couldn't reply. Okay, it's but nevertheless, was Qwen 3.5, 35 billions. Really good model, but it was not set up correctly, and it ran at 27 token per second. Okay, I wanted to show this because first of all, it's funny. This is the reasoning of AI. This is what's happened behind the curtains, but it's also show that if things are not set up correctly, they'll get lost. Okay, they get lost in thinking. So when your system prompt is too advanced for that system, for that model, then they get kind of lost. This system prompt that I'm using here was not, I didn't create for this model. It's something that I already had it. Okay, I had it and I copy and paste on here to see how this model would behave. And, uh, and it clearly failed. But this anything in LM, it's the second step that I suggest doing. You can go here and you have chat settings. Okay, you can set up your model. You can add your system prompt, and then there is the vector database where you can add. Where was it? Where you can add documents, which for some reason I don't remember. Or they changed the interface because it should be a way. Oh no, this is the settings. Okay, this is how you load up the model. Yeah, they changed the interface. So here, how you load up the document. Okay, you can upload some documents. You can have a lot of them, and uh, and then move them in the workspace. So the AI can use those documents as a memory. Okay, they get saved and can be retrieved as a memory. And with this system, you pass the limit of, for example, there is a Gemini, the app, that you can create custom gem that is something similar to what you can do here. Okay, but you have a top of a maximum of 10 documents. Here instead, but I don't know what's the limit. Okay, the limit is your system. So you can load up much more documents, but you can still do the same thing of customizing the system prompt and so on. So you can build exactly what you had inside your ChatGTP or custom gem or whatever you used to use with this. Okay, and here you can add local model, okay, and or other model via API. So completely open to everything. So you disconnect from this corporation and you can have exactly the same thing that you have on ChatGTP, but with more settings like so you can experiment more because here you have, for example, the temperature. For those that don't know what is the temperature, is basically how much the AI. I'm gonna just break myself here because it's kind of how random the AI thinking can go. Okay, so from zero, basically, it's gonna always repeat the same answer to the same question to one that is gonna be really creative, and that creativity can go into, let's say, hallucination. So 0.7 is kind of high already, but you will see, depend of you, you can play with this element and try to make it more strict to behave in a specific way, or more creative if you want, to not repeat always the same answer to the same question. I'm simplifying, but that is the concept. But now, okay, those are the first two. But what coming next? And for me, where is it? Okay. So this is Obsidian. This is not an AI app, but this is a simple software, somehow simple, that can do complex things. And what I've been experimenting with is to connect the entire folder of Hermes inside Obsidian. This is an experiment, okay? So you see, this is the vault. And I'm going to show here if I find it. Okay, so if I go to, but don't get lost. Where is it going to be? There is a specific folder, which I don't remember where it is. Maybe you guys know, where Hermes saves. Here it is. Okay, it's a hidden folder, so you might don't see it. To see the hidden folder, you on Mac you press, I believe, Shift, Command, and Dot. Yeah, you show a hide or hidden folder. So this folder, that I lost it. It's basically present here. Okay, it's the same content is here. Audio cache, okay, the same thing. So this is Hermes. What is the inside this model? Maybe I'm jumping ahead. Do you guys know what is Hermes is or not? Let's actually have a little break and discuss about this, because maybe I guess most of you know or no. Please tell me something. Do you know what I'm talking
Yes.
about, or you have no idea?
Yes,
My
yes.
Her-
It's
yeah,
Ernest. Hello.
my Hermes agents keeps my OpenClaw running.
Okay.
He's really good at that.
Is there anyone else that is there anyone that doesn't know what Hermes is?
I'm probably on the opposite extreme where I've seen you guys use it and I know what it is and what it does, but I've never used it. But it would be good to know if there's anybody
All
here
right.
that is
Yeah, yeah.
closer to that level.
Uh,
I just to put it out there, I mostly use Claude Code to manage all my agents. I use a mixture. I use like OpenClaw. I've messed around with Pi. I haven't used her. Actually, no, I did install Hermes. I just haven't really used an agent on Hermes much. I have heard some people complain that Hermes can sometimes like the entire idea is that it will like write skills automatically by looking at its memory. It sort of uses a separate model to pull from the memory logs to create those skills. But some people have reported that like it can get like corrupted if like there's a bad if it tries to do something and it messes up, and then that goes into the memory, but then it detects that as a process. It should create a skill, and then even if you like get rid of that skill, it'll keep creating that skill and sort of just like mess up all your skills. I don't know if that is true or if they patched that out. Like that was, I think I read that like I don't know a few days ago, maybe a week ago.
yes, Hermes has this system of self-improving, but as every AI can do things wrongly, therefore something that is supposed to be, a good thing can become a bad thing. So Hermes is like OpenClaw, like local architecture to control to run models. Okay, so it's like an AI infrastructure that can run this local model, like your ChatGPT, which is the window. Okay, that is the software around. So that software, the interface, the memory inside, the all the elements that are there inside the software. That is the harness, this architecture that hold the model, which is ChatGPT. Now, there have been open source solution to build something like this that run locally, even though maybe the AI doesn't run locally. Okay, so that is when we're talking about Hermes and OpenClaw, it's it's something similar for those apps, okay, but more advanced because they can do much more. Uh, And we have, for example, Anthropic that is starting to copy more and more OpenClaw. Okay, so now we see Cloud Code that start to do things similar to OpenClaw, which basically be more agentic, more control inside the computer. You can talk to those agents through the mobile phone and so on. I want to show
Well,
you.
I do just want to say a little bit like I don't know, maybe I got this wrong, but and I do love OpenClaw, but I actually think it went the other way. OpenClaw was sort of trying to imitate Claude Code and try to like turn it into like an open platform.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's copying each other, okay? But the functionality of commanding the AI through mobile phone, the cron jobs, the heartbeat, those that come from OpenClaw, and those have been added lately to Cloud Code. So that's the timeline. But yeah, everybody's copying each other. Okay, a good idea
Okay, I
is a
see
good
it.
idea. It should be copied. There's nothing wrong with that. So if there is a good idea, we should copy it. That is how we learn from each other. Okay, that's is peer learning. Then there is people that put IP on top of good ideas, and then they stop the collective learning. But at the moment, hopefully there is a lot of development in the open source, so everybody can use those good ideas to keep building and improve AI. So all of those models can be started through the terminal. And it's so funny because there's people like you that knows the terminal really well, but I don't. Okay, but I want to. That is the good thing. Okay, that even me, that I'm not a software developer. Sorry, it's just to read the correct thing. Can actually use this kind of interface. Then this is the something that is gonna surprise everybody. Let's see if it works. No, why? Ah, no, sorry, R code. That's why. Ta-da. So these are the three things. Okay, this is now, what is this? Okay, this is Cloud Code, which is the open source version of Cloud Code, and which doesn't work when you open that open source version, which I changed it, so now it works, and now it can work with whatever model. So at the end, there is a lot of options of open source option to run your agents. Okay, this is the industry standard. Everybody loves this, which was closed, so we couldn't use it. Now it's open source, and we can use it. And that this is how it was the name. OpenClaw looks like, and this is Hermes, how Hermes looks like. And Hermes, how I use it is just run my local model. Okay, while here it says gateway disconnected. Good to know. Hold on a second. OpenClaw. You see, things breaks. Offer is going to connect, and Offer is going to start working. But anyway, so those are the different agents. The interface is kind of scary for a lot of people, but in reality, it's you can get used to it. But okay. So Gateway connected, Minimax is the model that I'm using, and whatever. Okay, this is some old stuff. So I can do /new and start a new session. But the thing here is that all those elements can be actually run through Telegram. Okay, so can be really much more friendly. You carry with you and you work with it. Now, why I shared that part, because it's possible to do something really insane with this Obsidian. Okay, you can actually open Obsidian, sorry, the terminal inside Obsidian, which is this one. And then I move it here. And then now I can start whatever I want, and I'm gonna start Hermes. And I already love this. Okay, so I have my knowledge and I have my AI. I can read whatever it is, and then I can work with my local model on my files. I don't know if you if you're excited as I am about this thing. It's really simple, okay, but it's so clear, so easy for us as a human, to now I can chat with AI, I can edit the file myself, I can navigate the structure of my knowledge, and if you haven't used Obsidian, there is a lot of things like this. Okay, you can see how knowledge are connected to each other, and they get connected. Okay, my God. Okay, this is how my knowledge at the moment are connected, which is pretty, it's fascinating. I mean, even if you don't know what to do with this, even just look at it, it's fascinating. But
Yeah,
let's
that's really
say,
pretty.
yeah, you okay, this is the configuration, because here is it's not just my knowledge, but it's also, like I said, is the I'm inside the Hermes, so it's also Hermes connection there. So there is a lot of things that are beautiful, which you can see there is a lot. I mean, this is amazing. But what is incredible is now you can operate these through AI, because everything is connected now. Okay, for me, it's the power of this is incredible. So think about jumping from ChatGPT kind of scenario where you are working with a black box, you don't know what's going on inside, and your data. You know one thing, that your data get read by the what's the name? The OpenAI, whatever corporation. Okay, they can see your data, so zero privacy. They say they don't use it, they don't train it, but this is a trust thing. Okay, you need to trust them that they don't do what they say. Nobody knows. Even because they've been caught of stealing, private information from books that are copyrighted. They should have access to those things, so they've been doing the things. So it is really about trust.
Hey, if they're gonna take my data from me using Claude, and that's gonna make Claude better, hey, I'm all for that. I'm all for that if that makes it
Yeah,
better
yeah,
and keeps adding to the data.
it's fine to donate your data. Okay, it's not fine to grab your data and use it without your permission. We can, as a human, have the agency of donate whatever data that we own. Okay, but we need to be in control of this action. If a corporation that speculates and train on my data without my permission, on my back, that is not cool. And we don't need to protect privacy for ourselves. Okay, it's not just about ourselves. We live, most of us live in those uh, countries where we have enough freedom to do whatever we want. Okay, but privacy is a problem that you have when you are in on a hostile country or hostile government where they can actually control you. And that is, you aim for privacy, not for yourself, but for the community, for the journalist,
Manolo,
yeah.
may I interject and ask a quick question? The graph that you're demoing here,
Yeah.
is this one is an aggregate of all the different agent data points from all the different models that you're interacting with, and it's being presented by Obsidian?
So if we zoom in, here we can see what is a little bit what is inside. Okay, so here is the keyword Discord. Okay, how it's connected to inside my system.
So what is the totality of like
This is like it's like a file browser sort of, but it's like mapping it out visually with all the connections between documents that it's contextually drawing.
what's responsible for creating the relationships here? What's doing the work to create those relationships?
So yeah, there is a lot of different things. Some of them are connected automatically. Okay, some others you have control. Honestly, I'm not
I think
good
it's
at.
Obsidian.
Um,
I think Obsidian is drawing like the map.
Yeah, but you
And then
can
this is like the integration with the agent.
you can have action on it. Maybe there is people here that are expert, like maybe not expert, but they know more than I do. But I know that, for example, if I press twice the square bracket, okay, I can then insert a document, okay, and then I create. For example, I'm just gonna do this one, protocol library. So I now linked this document to this file. Okay, now there is this connection between this document and that file. So if I click on this file, now I go there, but also now appears in the graph. And I'm gonna delete because I don't need it. Okay, so
Manolo, could we let Michelle talk a little bit? Michelle, do you have anything to share?
For now, no, because Manolo explained very well about Obsidian. But yeah, this is exactly what Manolo is showing now is like an atomic node of every sentence and keyword Obsidian make. This is actually a Obsidian native function. So you can mapping all the context of everything you write and you make on the markdown file of the whole vault. So this is very complex. Like someone said earlier, this is the way of browsing, navigating between contents, actually.
so
Yeah, Obsidian is really good.
Yes,
I recommend it.
Yes, yes. Actually, this is crazy, Manu. What you doing? What you just made this morning? I start the building. It's the same.
nice.
Yeah, it's
But
really because this like for the memory. For me, you show me a different way to use it. So this is very interesting because you actually editing Hermes with Obsidian in your vault. So this is brilliant. For me, I use in different way. I use it for the knowledge and memory of my agent. So
yeah.
so they have a shared knowledge. They can back up the knowledge. If they can point something like maybe a summary title and back injected directly to the agent when he's wake up from a forest session. So if you need to know more about it, you know which file to point to. We want to upload everything.
Sorry, I lost the last part. If you
Want to, okay, let's say when your agent just wake up from a fresh session, you
yeah.
need to download all the memory inside the model. But when I use Obsidian, you can just pass just the title of the summary context of each folder, each file. And then if you want to know like maybe something about, okay, there's like a file named Resonant OS interface. And then if he knows there's something about this topic, but if you want to know more, you just can ask it, and then he knows exactly where to find the more information about it.
So yeah, what I've done now, hopefully, is gonna be able to explain it. But what I've done, I created this folder called KB Knowledge Base. Okay, inside this folder, I added, of course, my SS of T's, my single source of truth, that I grabbed some of them from OpenClaw. And then here, for example, I'm adding my newsletters. Actually, it's not those ones, but it's I'm adding my newsletters where there is the content of what I'm sharing, and so on. But then I want this knowledge base to become like the knowledge for the memory, what is opening things? This is OpenClaw that is doing a research on the background, because I'm using not my computer but OpenClaw computer. Look at this, it just started doing researches. Okay, sorry. Now I got lost. So what I said, I wanted to use this as the knowledge base of Hermes. So this means it needs to be added in a way that can be retrieved in the memory. Okay, so the solution was to build like an SQLite. Okay, I don't know if it's explaining here, but the solution was to build this SQLite that the Obsidian can use to do to find the data inside those documents. Okay, so if I mention something about the business plan, it would be able to, okay, go there and retrieve chunks of memory from this document. Okay, so because the fact that I'm here doesn't mean that the AI Hermes is going to use it. But the fact that instead is going to be treated as a database for the knowledge base, then it's possible to do it. Now I started implementing this this morning. Okay, so I haven't tested fully, but my experiment here was to only use Gemma 4 to do this work. So I've been using Gemma 4 and say, how can we resolve this problem? And Gemma 4 was telling me, you know, all these solutions and so on. And then it's still building code, it's still installing the SQLite and adding a lot of things. So because the test was for me, can I do it with a small local model? And I don't know, because I need to read if it worked. But that was the challenge. Okay, so and at the moment it's been working pretty well, more than I was expecting. Of course, for heavy lifting, we can always do like slash model and change the model. Okay, and go on Minimax, for example. So there is always the option of or if you see that your local model is not powerful enough, you can open one of those other models and make it happen. Anyway, that is the thing. I'm not an expert about Obsidian. I'm not an expert about anything here. I'm just saying this is what I'm starting exploring as an alternative and as something different from OpenClaw. I'm not saying that I'm not using OpenClaw anymore. I'm still using it. It's still working for me in the background. So it's that is more, let's say, more advanced, more multi-agent, can do things in a different way. But I'm trying to see, Andreas, 1 second, just saw your hands now. I'm just trying to see if this way of working can actually lead to something else. Okay, this idea of having more control, or let me tell you what is my experience so far. First of all, the fact that I can see all the documents, I can edit all the documents, it just makes me feel better. Okay, I can go inside the soul of this AI and change it. And so now this was supposed to be private, okay? But I call it Jesus the Resurrector, because the idea was to have this AI, like Greg said, to actually resurrect OpenClaw. Because the biggest problem is OpenClaw always crash. So I said I need something that he can resurrect it, and for me was. He came up with this idea. No offense for anybody that get offended about something like this. It's genuine. How do you say?
Thank you for the ideas, Manolo, by the way.
You're welcome. So just take it in the right way, please. But that was the idea. Okay, I need a resurrector, and this. So I built, was the first problem. But then Craig said that is working perfectly. In my case, I can tell you that instead, it was creating so much confusion the Hermes was not able to understand if was OpenClaw or was Hermes. So it was getting, I don't know if you, Greg, had this same problem, but there was this misunderstanding of the reality. If I say change this on, change, I don't know, the Telegram was not working on Hermes. I said, oh, check if working, if was working, and then it went to check OpenClaw instead of itself. Anyway, I'm gonna
Yeah,
stop
I
here.
made the mistake of importing OpenClaw agents into Hermes when I first set it up, and that led to a ton of confusion. But I've got it straightened out now.
Good. Andreas.
Hold on, sorry. Gotta find my mic. Yeah, the Obsidian, I had a question, Manolo. How do you get, did you, actually, I didn't know you could put that interface, I think it's what, Cloud Code that you have in the Obsidian, to where you can use Cloud Code right there in Obsidian
Yeah.
app. Actually, because I have a lot of experience using Obsidian. I think it's great because it connects that memory note taking to. I mean, the memory doesn't need it, but it's a great organizer for like the chats that I've always done and trying to organize that, the ideas, and then also into the memory, so I know what it can connect to. So it's kind of funny, like what Michelle said. I've been using this for a while, but I didn't know you could actually do that all within there.
So let me explain how it's possible to do this. So you need to go on the settings down here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is it
open the
It's a
settings.
plugin, right? Or
Yeah,
something?
community plugins, and then I install only these two plugins. Okay, one is
Right,
called
yeah.
Terminal,
Yeah,
must
yeah.
have, and
Yeah.
Git to have versioning of all those documents.
Yeah, because I use Git quite a bit too, because it links my different computers and models together. It's great to share information between them, and of course the archive and version control. I really love using Git and GitHub for that case, but I didn't know you could do that in Obsidian. That's really cool.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
glad you pointed
beautiful.
that out.
So community plugins, you turn it on. First, when you open this page, you need to turn on community plugins, and then you can browse, and then here you search, and then you just terminal, and you select, and then install and activate. The moment that you do this, you have this icon here. Okay, you have the icon. You press the icon, and then you have different options. You need to use this one, integrated. Because if you do, for example, the external, it's gonna open, see, an external.
Oh yeah, like a separate tab
one.
kind.
But if you do in integrated, then it's gonna open in here.
Yeah, and you just start Cloud Code from there.
Okay.
Or whatever model you want to use.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm glad you pointed that out, because it kind of saves me from jumping back and forth between different programs. I don't know if this is something I might just throw into the group. It was an idea because I wanted to save some costs, but has anybody ever thought about building kind of like an OpenClaw within this Claude itself? I saw a YouTuber doing that, to where he's like, hey, you can, instead of having, how the AI or the API subscriptions have kind of killed that idea with OpenClaw. Or not killed it, but it's made it kind of a little bit more difficult. But a guy showed me how you could actually recreate OpenClaw just using Claw period, which I was interested in doing, just to kind of suck the opportunities out of that, just to build my local models. I thought, I don't know, I just wanted to throw that in there. It was kind of an idea I've been working on too, of just using that as and also kind of an extra brain, I guess, to work with.
Sorry, Andrea, I'm not totally sure, because I'm not totally sure that I'm understood what you're saying, because I get confused with those names. So you're talking about OpenClaw to clone itself?
What happened was there was a YouTuber,
yeah,
with Anthropic. They pretty much told us You know, the AP we can only use APIs for OpenClaw, which can
Yeah.
get really costly for everybody. And then he was like, instead of doing that, what he did, he used his regular subscription mode and actually rebuilt or back engineered OpenClaw just to be used in Claw.ai, you know, just your subscription, you know, where you can make multiple agents. So you're not using the API from Anthropic anymore. And you still kind of get the same effect. It's not the same complete effect as you use OpenClaw. I thought it was kind of cool because you're kind of, I guess, using them a little bit, and, you know, still getting kind of the just $200 instead of having to, you know, do their API version
Yeah,
with
yeah.
OpenClaw. I thought it was kind of a cool idea because it's an option to still kind of use them and abuse them without having to pay them more money. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I still want to. I told Tom this. I still want to try to use their models to kind of train my local models, and then at some point say, okay, I'm done with you guys. Bye bye. That's kind of my goal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I understand. I personally, I closed the account with Anthropic. I think they're
Yeah,
not.
I totally agree with you. I'm almost to that point too.
Yeah, they're not cool. So that's my feeling. Okay, and plus, honestly, I mean, there is so many things that I don't like about what they're doing and how they're doing. Not that I like OpenAI, okay, but it's I mean, there is a lot of behavior that are not in line with our argumentation philosophy, with with what we want to build and so on, and therefore it just they just keep pushing it as okay, enough. I'm gonna try for a period to just use open source. So I'm
Hmm.
the local one and the Minimax at the moment for the other.
Because I do have my ASUS now, and I'm trying to go your route. I'm still trying to, you know, get it built, and I'm getting into that train looping. You know, I'm still learning all this. It's you know, it's coming so much because I'm trying to get away like you from all this
Yeah.
subscription stuff because it just leads you down this hole, and I don't want to go down that route anymore. I really don't. So yeah.
There is, yeah, it's yeah, exactly. But also there is this thing that they're selling their AI as the, the most powerful. So they makes you feel like insecure. Say, shall I use this smaller model? And then you realize that actually it's in a lot of cases it's fine. It's completely fine. And also, one thing that happened to me now, because I'm using this local model that I can trust less, okay, I'm
Mm.
actually more in control because the attitude of trusting AI is always a wrong idea. Okay, all the problem that happen is because you trust AI. So you start trusting AI, they say, this is PhD level, this is super clever, it's going
That's
to do
true.
amazing. So you say, okay, if you're amazing, do this thing. They do it, and then they breaks, they destroy stuff, they do a mess, and
Yeah.
so on. If you use a small model, you think like, okay, this is not clever. I need to manage. I need to really, control it, and therefore you actually achieve better result.
Plus, I think, Manala, don't you agree? I mean, actually, if you took all the people, just sovereign people, and the compute power, we'd have more power than even any one of these companies. Because I mean, even the machines, like if I have an Asus, you have an Asus. I mean, I don't know what Tom has for compute power, but I mean, there's tons of people out there with high computers, even gaming computers that are
Yeah, I mean,
top of the line that they're not
We're
gaming with
not.
all the time. You know?
No, we're not. It does no.
yeah, the maths
The amount
doesn't
of
work that way.
compute that they have is like even just one of these server racks is like 100 times one of these Asus GX10 or GTX Sparks.
Well,
Um, and
I'm
they have like thousands, hundreds of thousands of these server racks type units. I don't know the exact numbers, but it is like not close. The amount of compute. It is a little bit different. Like they're optimizing for training a lot. I mean, they're starting to spread. There's like a distribution of how much you have to focus on training versus inference. But yeah, it is not close at all.
Well, even if it isn't, I mean, there's something that can be said of just doing your own thing. I mean, there's not much they can do
For sure,
once. I
for
mean,
sure, for sure.
like if people just say, you know what, I don't want to buy into this, like Manalo has done, and
And
I'm really thinking about doing the same. Is just say, you guys, you're not going to get anywhere anyway if you don't have people to be sucked into the whole AI thing. You're like, I'm just going to do my own thing and do my local models.
yeah, I
I'll
mean,
train myself.
it's my opinion that the local thing is what's going to dominate. Even like maybe in like within 5 years, open source models. I think it's actually in NVIDIA's interest, like business wise, for open source models to dominate. And so I know
Yeah.
that they're pushing open source. And I also
I
think
just-
that it's impossible for any of these frontier models to offer API access without distillation being possible. So no matter how much, they're ahead, which I do think there will be like right, the amount that the frontier models are ahead from the open source models is just going to get smaller over time. It's not going to, maybe in a certain month or here or there's going to be spikes, like, with this like Mythos model. I actually think it's pretty serious. I do believe that they're talking about like very major levels of 0 days that they were discovering using it. Just because I know that the banks are taking it seriously as well. But yeah, I think the open source models is what's gonna work.
It doesn't surprise me that the banks are scared because their stuff is so legacy, anyways. I mean, I would be scared. It's just
The real
Yeah,
power
very,
is
very-
memory.
What now?
No, I just say actually I realize the real power is memory. It doesn't matter how much the model is powerful. If the architecture of your harness, like OpenClaw or harness, is messy, it does not going to do like well anyway. So it's not about power, it's about how you manage your memory. Memory is everything actually.
Yeah.
It's
Remember
definitely a
is very
stack.
important.
It's like it's going to be like multiple things: memory, like the routing between pulling
of
from
course.
memory, the executor. It's all
Yeah, I
and it's
agree.
all going to be like specialized modules, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I can add one thing regarding this. So remember this, okay? That if things are not set up properly, it doesn't matter the size of the model or how great it is. Okay, it's going to be broken anyway. So this is a good reminder. Okay, so set up your system correctly to do the correct reasoning. And another thing to consider, where is it? A year. So think about my system has 128 gigabyte of RAM. Okay, it's pretty big, and can't run this model totally. Okay, on the so I can control like this. This model is it just say partial GPU offload possible. So it might be running somehow because you see it's 138 gigabyte. This is 230 billion parameters, which is nothing compared to ChatGPT. ChatGPT, those frontier models are in the trillion. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 trillion. We don't know because they don't say, but they are in the trillion models. Now, the latest one that came out, what's the name? The Mythos. It might be in 6, 7, 10 billion parameters. So sorry, trillion, which is there's no way that we can have a computer that can run such a big model. Okay, there is it's impossible. So it's impossible because the cost would be insane for us to run it. So there is a problem is for local model. It's also it's true that we have a lot of power and so on, but it cannot be compared to those large corporation. Okay, we are not even close for a lot of different reasons. Okay, just it's impossible even to run, those kind of models. There's no hardware that you can buy that it can actually run the kind of models, and those models are not open source, so we don't even have it. So it's really there is a big challenge. The gap is huge. So I'm trying to do things with 30. There is actually this one can run as well on my system. This 120 billion parameter. Okay, Nemotron 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say Nemotron is sort of trying to bridge that gap.
Yeah. So 120 billion is this model is pretty good. But the thing here is, if you use it to run in parallel, meaning that you're not chatting with it, it can run and it's fine. But the token per second on this model is slow. Okay, and being so slow is not fun to interact for us as a human. So there is also that aspect that we need to take in consideration. So I could have, for example, this one plus another model, which is again, it's possible to have more than one model load up on my system, because you see it's 86 gig, yeah? And sorry, this is the download, I think. But anyway, so it's possible to run this model plus another on my system, and one that can be fast, so you interact them, but then you delegate to this Nemotron to do the work. So there is things that we can experiment and go around, but it's those frontier models, they are at a completely different level. Samuel.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the whole like 10 trillion parameters, big model stuff that's all over the internet, that basically you can't run on your personal computer, that's today. I can't help, like, I know this is way, way in the future, but I can't help think that my brain that can do good learning, good thinking, good memory runs on a 12-watt light bulb. And at the end of the day, the amount of energy input and output is basically minimal. And so the amount of energy that we're capable of pushing through our computers and the computers we're going to be using in the future and the models we're going to be using, the models, yes, their intelligence is high at the moment and their energy usage is very, very high. That's going to be coming down, and our compute capability on our desktop is going to go up. So our the balance there will mean that, I don't know how long it's going to take, but it will be that in some years we will have a more parity of saying, yep, I've got my desktop, blah, blah, blah. It's running the equivalent of what was GPT 5.4, and it's going through all those tokens per second, and it's just like a normal thing on my desk. So what my point there is, when we're building stuff, are we building for what we're trying to use now, or are we building for what's going to happen that we know is going to happen in the future soon?
Can I add to that, Sam?
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, so that's a great point, and I think that's really where we need to be engineering, is building for the architecture that allows us to use local models that we've either trained or used lower training or done some form of distillation. Like a gentleman was saying, they can't really stop us from using the big models to gain training weights, right? They just can't. So that's going to happen, and eventually we're going to be a tier or two behind the frontier models as we move along, and they keep expanding. Context windows, number of tokens in training, and so there is a pretty big gap for the training. But once you get a model and start fine tuning it, that's definitely possible local. So if you have models that are locally trained, it's essentially like we're building a car and we're waiting for a new engine to come out, and we'll put the new engine in the car when it comes out. And there's constantly going to be increasing technology and horsepower in the engine, right? So we're just a little bit behind it, but as long as our architecture is built around running locally, trying to keep our data privacy the way we need it, and then leveraging the new models as they come out, and then as soon as we can, pull the technology down and get the latest, fastest models and plug it into our system. So sort of engineering for what's available today, but keeping an eye out for what's coming and engineering to accommodate it.
So this is how I'm planning my for the future. Uh, so the knowledge, the intelligence is inside us. Okay. The problem here is how do we extract this knowledge and intelligence so then the computer can have it. And that is a journey because we as a human we can't offload, just do a backup of our brain. It takes a lot of time. And so what I do actually, look, I go here. I record my thoughts. Okay, I record this on my recorder. It's always with me. I press record and I start talking. Okay, I do 1-2 hours a day. That's how crazy I am. On me thinking aloud. Okay, so I'll do these think aloud sessions where I record my thinking. And this is me offloading my brain. That I use this because this is how I investigate my ideas and so on, and I build and I do architecture and I write articles and do my YouTube videos. I do my businesses. This is how I do it. Okay, this is my style of working. Plus, sometimes, of course, I write as well. But I do this, and then think about you do this for months and then years. So you start collecting a lot of data. And that is the data and connection that you can leverage inside the Obsidian Lab, whatever is the name on here, right? So then you start collecting, where are they? The think aloud session. Those are my think aloud session. Okay, those are the analysis of my thinking. So this is me thinking. Okay, and this is the analysis of thinking because then there is the transcription. Okay, this is the raw data, me talking, and this is the AI just transcribing. I don't know what is going on here. Let's not look at it. But then is, all this data can collected over time. Okay, this is months and months of think aloud session. And then with time, you build over months and years, you build, something that is just insane. That I love that it keeps changing shape, but then you have a lot of maybe those are a lot of think aloud sessions that are connected, and they are still not all of them here because this is something that I'm building now on Obsidian, so it's not everything here. But then over time you're going, and this is what has value, okay? Because this is your life, your unique element that you can bring on the table. Okay, that is you. This is me. Okay, let's say this is me, and I'm actually even more curious to see when I bring even more all my articles, all my think aloud session here, what's gonna look like. But that is what we bring on the table. Then when we're gonna have a more powerful AI, then we can leverage this more and more. So this is how I think this is my idea. This is how we move ahead of everybody else. If we start collecting this data correctly and deeply. Now we have a way to distill this data into intelligence. That's my plan, at least. And sorry, regarding Samuel, this our brain and so on, we need to remember that our brain to reach what we are now, it took millions of years, and with AI we are just a few years in. So it's yeah. It's not optimized. So yeah, we are gonna go towards optimization, and you're right, that is the direction, but it's gonna take some times. If you want to talk, you're muted.
For all the years, the few years that we're in, we've made leaps and bounds really, really fast. So it's going to leap and bound continue even faster because the world hasn't even figured out how to do this yet. Like there's some 5 American companies that are making frontier stuff, and the rest of the world's like, cool, we're just going to use this and play around with it. The whole rest of the world is yet to wake up and start making this technology and start screwing with it. So it's going to balloon out, and a couple of people are going to have some weird ideas, and that's going to take off, and that's going to be a new thing. The whole GPT transformer model is still the main way how everyone thinks and all the models work, and it's like one of the most inefficient ways that people have proven that it can be done, and yet that's what everyone is using because no one's figured out the next step yet. So as soon as that happens, the next thing is going to be another frontier level out again. So Yes, evolution took millions of years, but it didn't have direction like we're about to give it through AI. So it's definitely going to be an interesting time to come.
Totally.
Manolo, can I ask you a question really quick?
Of course.
Sorry, Jim. When you're taking your notes, because I've had this idea, because I have a lot of ideas going through my head, and I use Whisper, but I wanted to ask you if you have an LLM that actually takes your notes that you make through your voice, your recordings, and organize them in Obsidian for you, or do you do that yourself?
So for many months, I was using a Google Recorder app. Okay, that was my first because I had the mobile phone. I got the Google Recorder, and that one record audio and do the transcription right away. And it's saved on the cloud, so I had the convenience and so on. But again, it was always this idea. Okay, I want to have sovereignty about this. I don't like to use Google, but that software was for me a really easy thing. Okay, record and transcribe right away. Now, because I have this machine, I said, how can I do it differently? And there is of Whisper, there are different models. So there are also bigger model, but there are also other AI that can be used. I personally use, I think it's called the Whisper XL. So it's the larger version of Whisper that nevertheless run on the CPU and not on the GPU. But it's fast enough. It's still small at the end.
Yeah, okay. Because that's what I was gonna do, or somehow integrate it into my Obsidian like you're doing, so that all my ideas get collected, and like you, that it just you build a knowledge base, and then you have that in your memory, which something that none of the big companies can get a hand on. So
Exactly.
cool.
And that makes the difference. But it's not just that they don't have it, okay? And having it would be the problem here is two things. It's not just they know your facts, okay? Because we share our facts, where I've been, what I do, and so on. But they know how you think, okay? Your reasoning. That is the real danger. Because if they understand your reasoning, it's like I don't know. I think I believe I said this in the video. In the Mythos, it can find vulnerability on softwares. Okay, if we see our brain as a software, our intelligence as software, can also find not maybe Mythos, but maybe other future model find vulnerability in our intelligence, in the way that we think, so we can be hacked. Okay, manipulated and so on. Not in the sense I'm gonna manipulate you and you lose control of your body. I'm not saying that thing, but makes you believe something, make you change idea, vote this party, vote this other party, okay, and or whatever, buy this product. Anyway, that is the risk. So sharing facts is one thing, sharing the way that you think is another. Michelle.
Manolo, I was going to suggest maybe in the future, for privacy and security purpose, you could also, from your voice, you can train the model to recognize your voice. So if someone want to, hack your voice, so I think it's a great idea. Maybe later.
I have to, with my accent,
yes,
I have to do it.
Same for me. My broken English is not the same. So
we have to do it. It's a must for us.
Yes.
But yeah, good point. Anyway, this is, I mean, we shared a lot. I don't know, I share a lot of how I work. Okay. If any one of you wants to share how you work, how you doing these kind of things, so we can learn from each other, would be nice. What kind of, software technology, the way that you use Obsidian, if you use something else. Today I was showing Obsidian and Hermes because this is the way that I'm experimenting. But like I said, it can be used with OpenClaw as well, with Cloud Code, with R Code, and so on. Michelle, you have the hands up. I don't know if you want to.
Yes. Actually, what you say, I want to share something about you. because when you talk about your Jesus model,
Yes.
you gave me the idea when we last week, when you have a meeting on a design. Then I try myself, I build one for myself. So the mine is in the second machine. So external second machine. Actually, I made the same model. He must bring back OpenClaw gateway when it's down. I just built it from the same OpenClaw. They are synchronizing the same OpenClaw latest version. And I think it might work in better if you try to copy your Jesus to another second machine. You can keep both. So you have two watchdog. So if the one is down, the one look for another one, even they can bring back your model. I've been doing this, and this is working like really fine.
It's yeah. My first attempt was this is months ago. It's so things are moving so fast. But basically, 2 months ago, when I installed OpenClaw, I also installed OpenClaw on a different machine. Okay, so I
Yeah.
had two OpenClaw for this reason, and yeah, it was working, but there was some scenario where it was not working because if something breaks in the communication for these two computers, then there's nothing they can do. Now, Hermes use a different how do you call it? Different getaway. So if one getaway get broken, the
I
other
see.
doesn't. Okay, so they are completely disconnected. That is the
Yes.
beauty. So they can coexist inside the same machine and support each other. So that part is beautiful. Why this is important is because if I'm at the computer, there's no problem. But if I'm away, and I'm away a lot, okay, just because I work and talk with my to my recorder when I walk in the park with my dog. When this happen, I'm also sometimes work with my phone with AI, and they just go offline. Then you
Yes,
can go to
same.
Hermes and talk and say, like, do something, fix it. Uh, so this is for me, it's pretty powerful, but it's not perfect yet.
Yeah, of course,
I'll
nothing is
uh,
perfect.
I'll share a little bit. I'm actually in line with you guys. I have a number of new clients that I want to bring. I'm bringing online that are small businesses, and the idea it was very much in line with what you guys are talking about. I came up with for the architecture was to run OpenClaw, which I'm actually considering converting to Hermes on the top end, and that instance, that harness with that LLM has access to a hypervisor, and that hypervisor, like Proxmox, has ability to spin up a VM, which that VM, which would have OpenClaw instances inside the VM, and they would have complete autonomy over not only the physical layer, the virtual physical layer in that regard, the machine layer, also the full autonomy root access to the OpenClaw instance, and they can become as good as I am as an administrator at that on the top level. So it's like orders of administration, and the higher order always has complete control of the lower order. And you can do that even with Docker containers. You can do the same thing on a simple workstation with using a Docker setup. And it's essentially foolproof because you can act, instead of you acting as that administrator, you can have an agent act as that administrator and then have complete autonomy and access to all of the orders underneath it. And then there's no risk of complete failure because that top level is the most stable. And the only time you ever do maintenance on that is when you are managing that top level, but it's much rarer than you would apply changes at the virtual or the container level. And the idea of what you introduced earlier about using Obsidian to kind of connect all the different work, I would see it as connecting all the workspaces into Obsidian. You, then administrator or the top level an agent that runs that virtual infrastructure, could have complete access to the Obsidian database of connection, so that they would have complete knowledge of what's going on with all the agents within those virtual instances. Very, very quaint, very beautiful concept that I hadn't thought of. Thank you.
That's great because you can have Obsidian to your phone also.
Yeah, I haven't connected Obsidian to my phone, to be honest, because I want to understand first how works the technology behind. Because if I lose my privacy and sovereignty, then I don't know. I need to find a way to make it work without them as a service. I don't know. I need to see. But yeah, what you were saying, Victor, yeah, it's I agree. I'm gonna tell you my experience. First of all, I created here a project a project folder where I got my different projects in here, so I can have control and oversight on my project. Okay, so in the DAO, for example, I have the Discord community and the website. Resonant OS, I have the app and the website, so I can go inside. There is my documents and so on. My experience, though, of what you're saying, but it's I work as a more researcher and I experiment, so I never managed to get this stability. Okay, but that is me. Okay, first of all, I'm not good. Second, I experiment too much. I experiment with everything, so I never have the layer that is stable enough to say, okay, I can trust the top layer to actually do the work. Um, because I'm experimenting with the top layer as well. So that is that is me though. But I understand what you say. If but what I'm because I'm like what that's what I want to say. Because I do this, I don't know if it actually works. So you are saying that it works. And somehow I believe that if I build something more stable, will work better. But I also believe AI loves to hallucinate and do and do some mess. So I wouldn't trust 100% even the top layer. That's what I'm saying.
What you do is you create levels, like I said earlier about the orders, the higher order. In the higher order, you don't expect growth or creativity. What you expect is consistency. And the two forces are horizontally opposing. Growth and creativity, you can either be great at that or you can be great at consistency. You can't be consistent and be creative. They're just two. They're not compatible. If sometimes you have a balance of the two, but then you're not extreme or exceptional in one area or the other.
Which
So
is
you're more
connected to what we
balanced.
were saying with the temperature here, right? You remember? It's, I
Yeah, that
mean,
makes complete sense.
yeah, it's connected as a concept. So you can do this also with AI. So the top layer, it says maybe 0, okay, is with
Yeah.
0.1. It's not creative. It just do the job as it's been explained. And then some other scenario you can be, for the writer, for example, the one that writes article and so on, or I don't know, the one that wants to explore philosophy or do brainstorming, you can have a higher temperature.
It's interesting to think of that, all of these concepts, they trace back to philosophy and the Hermetic principles of reciprocals. And if you think of it in terms like that, it's amazing how the technology follows that exact same natural path that you were describing with the temperature and where I'm describing with consistency versus creativity and all that stuff. Nevertheless, the balance, you can strike a balance by creating roles and having a logical order of those roles. Whereas I mentioned the top level, if it's consistency you want, and you're going to sacrifice creativity, there's not going to be a lot of change there. And in that instance, you have a great deal of stability where you can count on it, and then you can then always feel comfortable to fail on the lower order because there's no risk. If you have to restart it, it's as easy as asking the higher order consistency layer to just spin up a new one or restart it or reset from the last stable point, and you're back in operating in a very short period of time.
Thank you. This is, I think, is really important for the thing that I was talking. I don't know if you watched the video, read the article that I wrote about what's the name? The swarm of AI. There's creating agency, a lot of different agencies that work together. I think it's this one. I'm gonna share the link with you guys in the chat. Because that is what actually we need to do, this structure that you're talking about. so we can build something that is much more stable and can be used in a more complex scenario. Because the problem here is, as you start the complexity, then if you don't build something that is manageable and you can trust, it just go into the slope and just become a mess. Momir.
Sorry, just to turn
In
on my
my own
mic.
little, oh, sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, one thing I've been working something with the knowledge graphs and also with Obsidian, and there is one very interesting plugin. It's called Infranodus. I don't know
On
if
Obsidian, you say
it's a plugin for Obsidian that upgrades it and makes all these maps three-dimensional. Infranodus, I can write it down.
Yeah, please.
Or I can just find the link quickly. But
Infra,
anyway, yes, it's
here it is. Infranodo AI graph. Okay. Nice. Yeah, amazing.
this is amazing because then Obsidian gets really, really pimped in different ways, and these guys are very, really interesting what they're doing with that.
So, and if I enable, just so we can look it together, if I enable, is it gonna work right away?
I think there is a free version, yeah, and then there is a paid upgrade, which is kind of more, yeah. So it will give a much 3D, much more interactive, categorized and whole stuff. Even you can get some clouds of meaning, and then you can pull out all those front layers, which is very interesting because some words are very often, and when you extract them, then you get isolated islands of meaning, which you can bridge then and find a way how to yeah, you can play with that. It's
So
amazing.
it's this one is inside the folder. Actually, this is just augmentatism. This is just one document. I can't.
Yeah, there are many interesting functions there.
I mean, it's beautiful as a form of art, but yeah, maybe it can be.
Yeah, you can go and I
Yeah, it's
forgot now.
interesting
You can
it's definitely interesting.
yeah,
Amazing.
because once you pull one point, then you see where it connects and everything is clear. But also, if you pull out all these major topics, then it gets even interesting because there, you know, world is very common word. AI is common world building. We don't need that. We need the truth behind those common words, and that's the way how you can play and see, and then it has those gaps when you can bridge those gaps when something is anyway. This is the whole world. There are also interesting stuff on the other way because there is more powerful this graph way of looking through the knowledge, but through knowledge graphs, because Obsidian does make connections which are more kind of primitive, but you have true knowledge graphs which has a so-called graph schema, which can have a typology of connections and typology of basic structures, so it can clear out all the data. Anyway, knowledge graphing is brought by Palantir and by Ontology, and it's very, very popular and very highly used in AI to ground the models and to make them hallucinate less. There is Neo4j, very famous, this graph database. So this is one very interesting way to actually get this, as you said, one source of truth, but in a very stable way, as Michelle was then pointing out, and the basic AI can just extract the core and then go deeper when he needs something, you know. And that's the really powerful structure to organize the knowledge. I was working on one very serious project on KuzuDB, and so I was deeply involved in that, and it was amazing what came out. Unfortunately, the project has stopped, so we were not continuing it further. But I went very deep in one phase into it, and I was really amazed what you can get with these graph structures and AI, because AI loves this stuff, and so
Yeah.
the memory
And
gets
what
much. It's not about even the system, but the quality of the memory. And you know, you can have a system where you have 10 elements and you search in a text or in a database only those 10 elements and standardize relations in between them. So then he goes deeper inside of what they call graph schema. It's a kind of basic schematic stuff, because if you treat some area, you don't need all the data for the beginning. You need the core data. But what is the core data? Then you build a schema, so you know what is the core data, and then it gets multiplied. And once the AI knows the schema and goes through millions of points, he just needs 2 seconds to know everything, you know. But it requires a little bit higher level of thinking, you know.
I'm curious what the context was that you were building these graphs for. So like some of my early experimentation was just like building. I thought I was going to build like a sort of like a claw hub, or not claw hub, a claw book or whatever that molt space, whatever it was. Like a bulletin board that my own agents could share as like a shared context window or a space to put. But it's essentially like this, like the Obsidian. But it turned into sort of like a research engine where I would have certain agents, like all the posts onto the shared board was basically like it had different semantic classifications. Like this is like research post, a thesis, a hypothesis, objection, and the different agents had different roles in that system. And I was curious, like what the limits that you found were, because something I had to implement was basically like a deslopifier agent, right?
We were building a very advanced matchmaking system, and the first case was a thing that was employed in my company. We were working at EU funding, and we created this basic schema which says, okay, one project has one project lead, which is in search for funding, EU fund. And once he matches on one level with the EU funding, then the next level of matching is, okay, I have this project, I want to apply to this grant call, and I'm in search for partners. So this is second level of matching. So which partners are fitting this project and this grant, and what partners are bringing on board. And this was the schema. So because every connection has its own verb, which is very important. So project is looking for founding grant, and this package is looking for consortium partners, and there is a lead partner, which is special status. So you have the whole case in one very simple schema, but then there are tons of grants, tons of millions of possible partners, and everything is fitted. There is a language called Cypher that goes through knowledge graphs, and it was really a matter of milliseconds to run through millions of data points, and then to validate it properly. And then, okay, there were some tricky stuff in behind, how different programs get different validations, blah 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 blah. But anyway, this is the really interesting road, and it's a very vibrant community. It's very there is a lot of people jumping into this graph space, and there are different. There was also one amazing tool. I didn't manage to try it out. I can just let me find it. I can share it with you. It's called Knowler, but it's written in some funny way, so I have to find it in my browser to share it. Just a second.
While you're
Uh,
searching, do you know was the success rate of those applications?
what?
The success rate on these funding of those application fundings.
The success rate of general EU funding. Not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. On your through this system, how was the system get success rate?
Yeah, we had a success rate. It was just about for companies to actually go through, and this is initial phase to find an optimal possible partners to approach them with the project, and then they have to write it out, and then they have to need to have a success rate. So it was for the very early
Okay, okay.
stages of finding proper partners.
All right.
But the validation was tricky stuff. I don't think I should go now into too much details. It got
I'm
very.
curious, was it like an open system where people could openly put an application in? Or was it more like because I just imagine like the analogous issue between like my initial try with like my agent system and you would be like if somebody's putting bad application data in up front and then trying to build a system to be able to like
So,
realize that it's bad data up front before it
yeah.
connects.
Because the first fit has to find with your project descriptions, and so there was several steps of matchmaking. So the first match was do your project. Is it good for your project idea? Is it good for this call? Which call is best for your project idea? So that was the first elimination. Then, okay, when you have a project and an idea fitted, what kind of partners do you need? It's EU funding is very, I don't know how much experience you have with that, but it's very strict and monstrous, I would say. So we wanted to kind of avoid this whole mess once the projects are started, and to make much more simpler to simulate what kind of project could I apply for different kind of calls, and what partners would I need, and then a decision could be made like, okay, this is our best chance, let's try to write it out, and then they have to write it out, and there were second stages, how to write collaboratively the project, blah blah. But this for this kind of data, when you have millions of possible partners, we scraped it from the LinkedIn, we scraped from various sources, and then it was the early stage. It was actually the prototype has just worked, and then the founding stopped, and we skipped to the other side of doing the different stuff. I shared you also here. There is another interesting uh, project which just skipped my mind now as we were talking. I didn't even try it, but it was kind of a pretty nice. Also regarding this knowledge graph, this Knoller cloud. Let me see if I found the right way. Maybe that's not. No. That's not the one. It's same. Gonna. Wait, I know where I have it. I sent it to my friend on LinkedIn. I just forgot how it's funny, written in a funny way. Yes, while I'm searching, one thing is popping up my mind the whole time I'm writing. I love this conversation because they follow also what I've been doing, and there is a lot of good inputs here. But we are kind of, as Manolos told in the last video, we should get this quantum point of people joining, especially those maybe who are skeptics, and uh, we are in a war in a way, we
Yeah.
will not.
I don't know. I mean, I'm all for educating people, but I've sort of gotten to a point where I'm like done with the skeptics. It just feels so toxic. I just like, like what Satoshi said, like if you don't get it, I don't have time to explain it to you.
Yes, but we are just tiny group, with really tiny capacities regarding all these big, and if we stay, this is an isolated islands doing some our experimental stuff, we will do something, but during the time we will just become so, as much as I see, we will become just so marginal that and they will just grab the majority of the people. Of course, I'm not telling you need to be clever, not to spread too much, but just thinking of what we've been doing here. Uh, and I've asked this question last time, what is the goal? But the goal in a simple, understandable way of this resonant OFs we want to do, but in a simple way, not in a manifest. I understand and I love it. But if my wife comes now in this door and say, "What are you doing? What is that we can offer with our approach to the general public to onboard them?" Because if they listen this, there's so many things, there's, Claude code. Only us know the difference. One where is Claude and one is Claude. And somebody would listen to us, Claude, and they would say, okay, these guys are crazy, So there is this experimental way part that Manolo is pushing through, and we all love it, and we are all thinking about it, and we are trying to chase this kind of recipe to use. But in a more simpler way, is there some scenarios we can agree that this is all good for a lot of people, even for us, as a stable thing we want to use every day, we want to slowly build up, we want to input inside our experiences, and then on the other side, this advanced group is just crushing the ice and finding the right way. But if we don't have tangible value that we can offer to general public, then we are just kind of marginal group that's sharing their experience, which is okay. But then it's not. I somehow see that Manolo is bringing out, and he has this nice, fresh energy to put it in space, to about this sovereignty, about these things that people don't think about, and they will get crashed. And we are offering something here. I think there is a lot of momentum for that, but our communication is kind of spread it to all this advanced stuff, which are kind of experimental, not defined. So I'm just trying to go through and think through what could be the minimum viable operating system we bring on and say, okay, this is the thing that works, and you can use it tomorrow, and it will give you this, and this. So, and then you get the spreading momentum, and then you get community sharing, even maybe some founding, even maybe some, I don't know, crowdfunding, even, I don't know, DAO initiation, all the things we know. But do we know what is the situation in a in life of common people where the resonant OS would just come and said, okay, yes, for this I need it. It's a great thing. Can I plug it in? Yes, you this and start. Great. Because once they are onboarded, they're hooked with us, and then slowly they will learn and go. Because if the gaps just gets bigger and bigger, we will just be an anomaly, on somewhere on the edge trying to do something, which is maybe also okay. But is it? Is it what we really want? So I'm not clear, I'm just thinking out loud. Sorry to maybe take too much space.
Momir, those are a good point, and I think those are really good point also to talk at tomorrow call. I want to say this thing: that is the collective decision. Okay, each one of us can do action that are in line with themselves. Okay, that align with their own life, with their way of thinking and working and so on. I'm a person that someone that does experiments. Okay, I've been doing all my life, so that is where I'm good at. That is where I can. That is what I do. Okay, I experiment and learn from this experiment and share those experiments. Live, that's what I do. Okay, I play with things. I learn fast and I break things even faster. So that is who I am. So I understand what you're trying to, what you say, the importance of what you say. But we need to do it as a collective because that is not where I'm good at. Because my thinking goes into okay, today's call and today's video was for for the beginner. Okay, in the sense, okay, you're tired about ChatGPT. Now get this sovereign system. I'll tell you which software to use. Okay, LM Studio. Start with that one. Anything LLM, so you can right away get away, and because it's not about the app, it's about the philosophy behind. So what I'm pushing is the augmentatism. Okay, because that is what leads you to act differently. Then Resonant OS is a software today that is that only works on my system. That is a good one. Okay, for a lot of things. Okay, but this software will maybe in 3 months' time not have a reason to exist because technology will change with something else. Okay, or maybe we'll develop it into something else different. That is the reality where we are living in. Things are gonna change really, really fast. What is gonna stick instead? What is the element that connect us? Should be the idea of the philosophy, the manifesto behind this augmentatism. So how we human interact and build AI, and the DAO that we're building, the economy, the community, and the economy behind it. Those are the elements that we are building. Now the app for everybody. It's I mean if people are not willing to do that little step. We cannot offer something better than ChatGPT for them. If they don't care about sovereignty, then stay with ChatGPT. There's nothing we can do better than them. Okay, we can't compete on convenience. Okay, this is not the path of convenience. This is the path of sovereignty, the path of human first. Okay, the path of building an AI that augment human instead of replacing. That if people just looking for convenience, ChatGPT, Anthropic, Google, those are always gonna win. There's nothing we can do about it. That's my feeling. That's how I see it.
I do have some question about what the because this is stuff I've been thinking about as well. Just reading through I know I'm new here. This is my first like full meeting I participated in, but I do see a lot of complexity in the structures, like you have the participation tokens and then or the contribution tokens, and then you have like these RCT yield tokens, and then there's like another layer as well. And I find it sort of a little bit confusing. But something I did think about that I do want to sort of propose or just throw out there is as sort of like maybe like a tangible thing, at least around like, what I was thinking is like maybe a research community would be some sort of, if this ever did become a sort of a project with sort of investment into it, sort of some sort of shared compute that is like tangible that we can like actually point to as like I saw like in there like a treasury of Bitcoin. I think a treasury of compute would be a lot cooler to enable people in the DAO to use that compute for research purposes. But that was just sort of like an idea I had when I was reading through everything, trying to understand.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the first thing that we can do, right? So because some of us has the hardware and can say, okay, I'm gonna create when it's the correct time and contribute to the community through sharing the some tokens, some use an API that people can use for do research or whatever work they want to do, because it's not about judging what is good or bad. Okay, people will use it for whatever they want. So the idea is to share this, and that is the contribution that we can do with those people that have hardware to support the community growth. But it requires an infrastructure, so we are really at the beginning of experimenting.
Right. Absolutely. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Because it's okay at the beginning. We can do it like okay, I give my API, you use it. Okay, like Greg was suggesting to give to the tech team, so the tech team can use it to develop whatever. So we can do these kind of things now, but to do it properly, we need to also measure this, because we need to measure the contribution of those individuals. Okay, the individual that share the tech, the individual that actually use the tech to do something with it. Okay,
I say we let the AI judge us.
It's not it's AI is going to hallucinate the judgment and have the whatever philosophy behind to decide who merits and so who deserved to be rewarded or not. So that hallucination AI is not ready to do something like this. We as a human, instead, we can create algorithms that we can fine tune and improve and make it deterministic, so they are fair all the time, 100% of the time. Okay, because AI is not going to be constant, and maybe it's going to give something more to one and another. But when AI is going to be possible to use, then of course we will put AI in charge of some of those element. And sorry, one more thing I want to say. So the complexity, it's real. I totally understand, and the complexity is connected to something that is new. Because it's new and people that are not used to it, it creates even higher level of complexity. Even something that is simple, like for example, Bitcoin technology. Bitcoin is pretty simple compared to every other project, okay, in the blockchain. But even Bitcoin is complicated for a lot of people, because it's everything that he has to explain is an alien technology that does alien things, so people are not used to it, therefore it's complex. So complexity is also connected to that thing. So now we should remove as much as possible complexity, make it easy to understand. But we also need to understand that reality, interacting with reality, it's complex. Interacting with finance is complex. Interacting with AI and software development and communities and diversity of communities and communities of communities, this everything is complex. Okay, that complexity is part of the world where we're living. Think about a government, think about what Momir was saying earlier. Just to apply to the European funding, the complexity and the rules and the things that you need to follow, the bureaucracy, this is insane. A lot of countries, they can't even participate because it's too complicated. And that is the reality. Okay, it's not easy to make things simple because things are complex by themselves. So we should aim for simplicity, but we also need to accept that it's not going to be simple. It's
But
advanced stuff. Go ahead.
maybe we could have two tracks, which is one giving our basic values in a simple, very understandable way, with some meaningful value and very easy recognizable.
But that is the manifesto. Manifesto is it's one page. You read it. You like it or you don't like it.
Because people actually first they don't read, they want to, they need a video of 2 minutes, which kind of bring their attention because they are overloaded. So they might.
Amir, this is the thing. Okay, you believe people need a video, make the video. That's how we live. We work in a decentralized system. Okay, you think this is the need.
Okay. I'm talking all about the things. I'm not talking about things I just think about. I'm talking about things in which I can help. I want to open the space of discussion.
No. It's sorry, I didn't want to come as a wrongly. The idea here, what I'm trying to make the community understand, if you see something is missing, you don't need my permission. Decentralization means you need to be able to to build by yourself, okay, to contribute. Now we are at the beginning. Everything is we're starting, so it feels normal to come back to me and say, "What do you think? Shall we do it together? Shall we? I don't know. Can you confirm that this is the right direction?" I totally understand. So I'm always available to discuss and how each one of us can contribute to this community. Okay, I'm always available to do this.
But I would
take
I'm
the
just opening
initiative
this
and
question
do it.
because just to see, is there any possibility that on basis of what is being building, developing, and to maybe extract some simpler common, like a basis of resonant OS value, which could be recognized, because it's not the thing that I built something which I find right. It's inside of this is what I can do by myself. But to lead people and to open their eyes regarding the manifesto, regarding the goals, so once they take this first stage, they said, okay, now it's good. Now I understand what you mean by this, and this, and they get the courage to jump into the new tools and bring motivation. My first stage is always being growth hacking and marketing, and I always look on from this side of other people. This is how I always. It's simple, to get in other people's shoes and see, okay, what is it they can recognize, and what is it they can hook, and then they go in their own tempo following us, which are kind of pioneers.
Two things that I want to say. Okay, one that for me is really important are those community calls. Okay, those community calls can be the bridge, can be the place where people can connect and share ideas. That is by itself. You see how much we are learning during those calls. We are learning from each other. We see how we think, the tools that we use. We just activate, even just listening. Okay, we activate our brain and say, okay, there is an alternative to what is being sold out there. So this is already the value. Could be the product. Okay, the community, what it does, they meet, they talk, they discuss, they improve, that is a lot of value there already. So on one side, for me, is that part. Augmentalism, at the same time, is telling that is the anti-capture. So the idea of I need to attract someone and then sell that person our ideology, it itself is not augmentalism. In the sense, I don't need to attract. The thing here, I need to create a place where your diversity, your way of thinking is welcome because we grow together with that thing and we build together. So then if you want to live, I want to help you living. If you want to stay, I want to help you staying. Because we augment the idea of you as a human and we encourage your experimentation. If sorry, I just want to say this thing. In the chat, in the general chat of Discord, lately some person shared this philosophy, this AI connected with religion. Okay, that was a way of building AI. Okay, and it's been attacked by the community, saying, we shouldn't connect religion, politics with AI. And it might be, I would probably agree with this. I'm not interested in politics and religion personally. But the augmentalism, the idea of, no, that person is doing a research on a direction that I don't understand, but it doesn't matter that I don't understand. If what he's doing is leading somewhere, there is value there. I don't need to agree with that research. I need to agree with the idea that we are all different and we all can search in directions that are different from us, and they will discover something that I or you will never discover because we didn't go there. Okay, they are going in a direction that for us can be completely wrong, can be crazy, can be no sense because we don't understand it. Okay, but that person sees something there, sees something that is worth going and check it out. And our job as a community is, please do it. Let me know if I can help you. And if you discover something, share it with us, because that is value. Okay, it's not stopping and telling anybody, no, you shouldn't go there because I don't like your religion, I don't like your whatever it is, okay, or your politics. We need to understand this, that is augmentalism. Okay, the idea of sovereignty is connected to everybody to be able to go in the direction that they want, and they don't need to agree with me or anybody else. If they want to search and discover something, do it. But don't push me to believe in your thing. Okay, that is the other part. Okay, so you want to do that research, do it. I'm not going to stop it, but don't tell me that your research is what I should do as well. Okay, I want to do mine. You want to do yours. Okay, we should be free about not imposing anybody else ideas. And one of the problem was that person that defend himself, saying, I don't know how many billions people are behind their religion. Okay, doesn't matter. In my reply, I said it's not the head count that counts. Okay, it's 1 or 10 billion people, doesn't matter. Okay, that one is sees something that someone else is not seeing. So if you need to own it and say, okay, I want to research this, do it. And without offending anybody, without, with respect. So that is what we should build as a community. Okay, that's what I believe. Okay, empowering each other to research and discover and so on. Samuel, you wanted to share something? If you're still there, maybe you're.
Yeah, I am. Okay, so I agree with a lot of your points. I also disagree with a lot of your points, and I have to go, so I'm not gonna go and talk about that here in detail. What I want to convey is that we are here to, so to start with, from your videos and from the start of how you attracted people, you brought people in, and I agree completely with this. You brought people in to take a platform like OpenClaw, which takes a platform like LLM models like ChatGPT and Claude and such, and OpenClaw releases the rails and it makes things extremely effective on systems that we want to use. And it actually gives the LLM arms and legs and teeth.
which is fantastic. That's what we want. However, those teeth bite. OpenClaw is very effective, but it just breaks itself. It breaks other things, and we have massive problems trying to figure out everything. Enter Resident OS. Resident OS, you have Logician, you have the guardrails, the shield, you've got the policy graphs and the protocols. Excellent. That's what we want, right? We need to be able to take OpenClaw to be able to manhandle it into a thing that is trustworthy, that we want to be able to use, that we can use it and know what it's going to do. Now, all of this does not take the end user into account in any way, shape, or form. We then need to say, okay, how is the end user going to do that? Cool, a community, an entrance into a DAO system, into a format that they can all contribute and bring into within the Resident OS system, that they can contribute stuff that aligns with how Resident OS works, so it's just plug and play. Fantastic. How the user can then interact with it as an actual chatbot level. Personally, I use Discord, other people use WhatsApp, Telegram, other interfaces, and it all comes back from that interface straight into our brain system that is guardrailed and then creates a unified communication system that they can easily recognize. Now, the challenge here is, yes, I agree that everyone can and should be able to research and do whatever they want. But if we don't have anyone who says, this is what we're building, this is how it's going to work, and this is what I want you to do, as you, Mr. Volunteer, to come in and help do the project, you, Mr. Come in and help volunteer and do the project. If we don't have that, we will never build anything. And that is where I think we need to say, look, yes, it's great having all these ideas, it's great having all these visions, but this is what we're building. This is what we have all agreed is what we want. This is the platform, and you, Manolo, you have done exceptional work to create this and build this and start this. We need to take what we've done, take what we've got, and solidify it. Make it work. Make it installable on everyone's machines. Make it unified in its functionality so that it does the same thing every time on everyone's systems. That is, in my opinion, should be our goal at present.
Thank you, Sam. And the fact with Resonant OS that I keep working on it and I keep using it every day. I totally agree, but it's that thing requires time. Okay, we see that is still under development because it works on my machine, maybe yours, maybe a few more, but then it doesn't work on everybody and doesn't work everybody or with everything. Okay, so there is a lot of still things that need to be fixed to be able to share this with the community. But then, nevertheless, that Resonant OS works on OpenClaw that is broken. The OpenClaw itself will just break it. Okay, so we are building something to try to be stable on something that is not stable. So the whole thing is not ready for the common, to the average person, let's say. Okay, it's already too advanced. So even if we make Resonant OS extremely fluid to everybody, okay, it's built on something that is not stable, and it's not going to be stable for months, for maybe years. We don't know. Okay, that is the challenge that we have at the moment. So it's not gonna at one point, okay, we have Resonant OS and now everybody can use it because it's simple for people. It's not, at the moment, it's not. And if we think about how many months, 6 months time, probably not. A year, maybe a year, maybe not. Okay, that is the problem where we are living. So can we use as a Momir and use someone say we need something that is for everybody so they can use it? It's not for everybody, and it's not going to be for everybody. Probably honestly, I think it's just because it's the challenge of OpenClaw. It's not even us, okay? Because of the challenge of OpenClaw, maybe it's going to take a year before it becomes stable enough for everybody to use. At the moment, it's break one day. Every day it breaks. I don't know. I don't remember a day that didn't break at one point. Okay, if happen, I mean, I use it all day. Yeah? So there's the chance to break in 12, 14 hours is really high. But a day, 2 days, and then it breaks. Okay, it's never happened. It doesn't. So is it ready for people? No. So that's something that we need to take in consideration.
But we know we know it's not ready for people, and that's fine. But we also know that, like, I'm hearing all of the other stuff that we've been talking about here on this channel. To be honest, everything that has been basically discussed in other forms has been like as if Resident OS and OpenClaw and everything else was already stable, and this is what we can do with it on top. And it's like, well, you want to try and build these tools and do these things on top, but your base layer below it is not going to work. So you can't really expect the upper layers to work unless you're going to turn around and build a complete infrastructure below it from scratch to make your upper level work, which is more work anyway. Yes, OpenClaw is in alpha state, and it's not, I wouldn't call it breaks every day. I've actually been using it quite stably for quite a long time. My challenge is that it's unpredictable and it doesn't show what you want to see, and you can't tell what it's doing at any point in time with any level of trust, which is where I thought we were trying to push Resident OS to come in. My challenge is, like, I want to build a system that basically, like, I literally want to build what you've been building with Resident OS. I want it on my computer. I want to be able to talk to it from my phone from anywhere in my world, and I want to be able to interact with it and have it do what Resident OS and OpenClaw does. To do that, we need to develop OpenClaw to the point where even us developers can use it. And then if all of us developers can use it, then we can start poking holes in it, figuring out the stuff, fixing it. And if we can get, like, a developer community behind it, then everyone can share their ideas and we can look at stuff on top of it. But if we can all be tinkering with it and using the system at the base layer, then we win, because we get the capability of getting the system, understanding its instabilities, taking all of the updates that the hundreds of thousands of people are doing with the OpenClaw community and integrating those upgrades or updates into our system, and obviously having them not break. And then that gives us the capacity to go to the public later and say, yes, we've built a thing. It may be superseded by some other company who's done something, but what we've done is made a community object that you can come into, you can buy into, you can join, you can participate for free. You know, the whole philosophy aspect, which is what I really want in the long run. But in the short run, of working, even mostly working platform that we can then say, here you go, have a go with it. And people, 99% of people are not going to look at the Resident OS dashboard and understand anything of it and all want to know about it. They want something like ChatGPT, where it's got an easy to look at front interface, where it's just chat stuff that they've interacted with. The only real challenge that we have right now is that we don't control ChatGPT. We can never control it. It's not ours. It will never be. And even those who want to use ChatGPT, it's not a real solution because it doesn't remember. Well, it sort of does, but it doesn't really. It doesn't have files. It can't interact. You can't change it and modify it to put it on your phone. All of these things, which is all the reasons why OpenClaw was made. And OpenClaw, of course, is a complete hot mess of
Sorry,
security issues and everything else.
can I say something? Someone is maneuvering my computer. I can see the mouse moving. Am I being hacked by any chance? Sorry to stop you this, but I can see on a computer. I don't know, this is weird.
Maybe one of the agents.
Not me.
No, they wouldn't move the mouse. It's my GX10. Where you remember when I told you, is this local address local? So people would now use it, right? So I asked at the beginning of the thing, because now I see my mouse moving. So I need to now do sorry, Sam, to stop you, but it sounds like a little bit scary that someone has access to my computer, and I don't think it's AI, because it's just moving within the what's the name, the GX10. Anyway, sorry.
Maybe you have a visit from Mythos.
Yeah,
Maybe,
exactly.
maybe you need to shut down that instance.
Yeah, and change the API key or something. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, I mean, there is so much to do, and we need to do it as a community. That's the point. So tech team amazing, but we are not organized enough to make this tech team actually work properly. So I don't know what's happening behind the scene. If you guys are meeting, chatting, if something is happening, but for what I see, there is a lot of waiting. I know you some are doing some work. I understand Greg is waiting maybe or testing something. Tom, I don't know. You said that you would do things, then it's not happening. So we need to know: are you still working? Because I think we are kind of waiting. Before I give you Tom a chance to reply, I'm gonna tell you what's my strategy at the moment. This is what I'm thinking. I want to create a website for the Resonant DAO. Already have the domain. It's going to be resonantdao.com. And that website will be an easy way from login with the wallet, what's the name? The Phantom wallet. Okay, so you log in with the Phantom wallet, and then you can we can start using some of the functionality of the DAO. Okay, submitting idea and so on without Resonant OS. So people that are not tech savvy, anybody basically, can just get the wallet and become part of the community and start the journey of contributing and get rewarded for contribution. So that is something that I want to do. Then regarding Resonant OS, we need to find a solution because at the moment it doesn't feel like it's happening. One side of me is thinking, okay, I need to just carry on working, and then I will build a system that can self-fix it, self-audit, and then go live with whatever it is. Because at the moment it's not working. Well, whatever we've been building is as a team is not happening, and I know everybody's busy. I'm not pointing fingers to anyone. Okay, I'm not even upset. I'm just saying it's not working. The speed of AI should allow us to move faster. Instead, we are not moving faster. Okay, there is a lot of waiting. And there's no communication, so I don't even know why. I don't know if things are moving. I don't know anything. So there is something that is getting stuck there. So at the moment, what I'm doing here is, okay, I carry on my development, I work on my things. But I said, okay, I'm gonna take this chance to experiment on my local AI, Hermes, and Obsidian. So try other things, so you have time to do what you need to do. But here is the second week where there is been no movement forward. In 2 weeks, it's a lot, okay? And the whole Resonant OS was developed in 2 weeks. So we could start from scratch, basically, and do it again. So that is what the scenario is. I don't know if anybody wants to say anything about this, but I want to also say one more thing. It's 10:20. I mean, we are more than half an hour, maybe over time, an hour almost. So if anybody of you wants to leave, I don't get offended. It's okay. Okay, the meeting, we can call it closed. But if you want to stay longer and discuss these few points, then before we end the call. Tom, go ahead. Yeah.
Just one question before. Do we have transcriptions of these calls maybe somewhere available?
Yes, I'm recording the transcription through the Zoom, and there is the videos being recorded that is gonna be shared. But yeah, we have both. We are gonna share both.
Yeah, you get a resume version of the on text of the meetings as well, and the recordings of the meetings.
Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, so you're right. We've stalled a bit, and part of that is my unavailability the last week or so. Been transitioning, but I think the next key step for us is the installing feature, and I think I'd like to set up a little bit of a hackathon with a couple of guys, Sam when he's available, and whoever else we can. If we can get like a 2 or 3 hour session, I think we can get to the point where we have his version of the installer workable across multiple operating systems. I think that's important for really anybody to move forward with testing. So I'd like to get that set up. And then, as Sam was saying, we do need to at least pencil out what we think are development priorities so that we can split those up. We've got the code in, a better structure in the version that you have now. Still a couple things that can be added and changed, but I think we're already at that point where we can start contributing to it. But we need to highlight the things. I know we've got some bounties that are already in the system, so that's probably just a work session to sit down and go through that. So the answer is let's have a discussion around those priorities, and then also just a work session within the next couple of days to get the installation package portion working. And that needs to get merged so that we can have your latest every time in an installable format. And that will give us the circle that we need for everyone to begin testing.
Yes. So we also need to stay compatible with the latest version of OpenClaw, which is what I'm testing at the moment. Because they changed, they made so many changes to OpenClaw. Some are really, really good. They added a lot of functionality inside the memory. So we need to reevaluate how we use the memory system because it needs to be compatible with theirs. Our R awareness, the injection of SSOTs is still really, really important, still extremely useful. It's something that is only us have. I don't see any other system that can do something like this. So that part is still good. What we need to reevaluate what kind of memory system we use as a default. At the moment, I removed all the plugins and trying to test it OpenClaw as it is, completely clean, to see how stable it is. So I'm just I'm doing this test. But probably because earlier I was using this LCM memory, that maybe it's not needed anymore. Okay, maybe it's now complicated, create things that are too complex for what we need. Maybe the standard memory, it's something that they keep developing, so we can stick with that one, plus the R awareness. And of course our protocols and so on. But yeah, Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna kind of touch on a couple things. One, you were talking about setting up a website on the DAO. Is your intention to set that up under DevNet? It's just a
So
question.
for now, we should, only because we are using AI to do a lot of things. So we should first test it, and we will probably need to have both DevNet and the live version.
Yeah, my concern there is, Tom is spending a lot of time, Sam is spending a lot of time. There's a lot of contribution that's going in. Obviously, you've spent a ton of time ultimately that needs to be reflected in the DAO.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think individuals are going to go use a website if it's just DevNet.
So let me
don't really
clarify
know.
this thing. The contribution that we measure, even in the DevNet, will be transferred on the DAO, okay, on the official network. So it's possible to see how many tokens you've been earning and so on, and then that will be given back. Okay, that is something that is possible to do. The point here is why on DevNet first? Because we need to test those contracts.
Sure.
Okay, that is the thing. Because when you go live, changing a contract become much more complicated. Okay, so the DAO itself is an open source software. Okay, so we can use this open source software to build a DAO. But once you build it, then you need to first it costs money to build it. Okay, and then you have this DAO, and to change contract, you need to vote. So we need to really clarify how to build the governance in a way that is going to be simple but secure at the same time. And there is also another element. The moment that you launch the DAO is an event. Okay, the event, even as a marketing, has a value. So we need to say, okay, let's plan for that event. Okay, so if we launch like now, we just lose a chance to leverage. So first, let's build it. Let's organize it. Let's build the community. Let's take track, of course, the rewards and so on. Those rewards can be moved on the DAO with plus maybe even an extra incentive and so on. But then we should plan as a strategy, not just a technical problem. Okay, it's also
I don't disagree with any of that. I was just curious your thoughts on the website if you were going to start with the DevNet. That goes directly into again, and I don't know that maybe Tom has a clear vision of this at this point. We need a defined feature set for the alpha that we are driving towards to put out there for people to use. Right now, the DAO doesn't work fully in the main or in the clean version 6. So there's certain functions of ResNet OS we need to say are absolutely critical to release a true alpha that people can install. And until we define that and then build to it, I can't test effectively, right? We can ask the AIs to do their smoke tests and everything else, but I can't realistically test anything until we reach that point. And Tom, I understand you've had some availability, limited availability over the last couple of weeks, but we really need to define that because part of this stuck is nobody knows what should be part of it. And I think Manolo, you could probably tell us, here's the things that absolutely have to be there in order for you to feel like the videos you're recording and what you're conveying to everybody is aligned with what's actually in the ResNet OS. Because right now there's a discrepancy between the two. What you're talking about, people can't go download and use those features right now. So yeah, I just want to be sure that we understand the DAO, and where that's heading and your thoughts on that. So thank you for expanding on it. And two, what's the critical path to a workable alpha that allows you to continue to talk about ResNet OS, people to continue to join, install it, utilize it, and you to continue to develop other things like the coding add-on and those other things that you want to do. And I'll just put out there, we definitely, and I know Chimo had recommended this weeks ago, or you did, Manolo. We need weekly tech meetings because we've got to drive this forward, and we need to get those on the calendar, just like the Wednesday, Thursday meetings. Just some of my thoughts.
Thank you, Greg. So I suggested on do those on Monday, same time of the usual time. So if works for everybody, we can do it, but it needs to come from you. Okay, so you guys, I'm available. I've always been available. Always checking the Discord channel to see if you want to do it. But apart of you, Greg, that once you said it, shall we do it? Then nothing happened. So I'm happy to do it. And Monday for me, it's could be a good day, so we can. Like I said, the strategy on Monday here is that we set up for the work for the week, but also we prepared for something to show on the Wednesday, okay, which is today. So we have an update that we present on Wednesday, every Wednesday. And this is where Resonant OS is at. And one more thing, I believe once you start working on the Resonant OS, it's gonna be really fast to fix it. Okay, it's there. The software works. It works on my machine, so I'm not saying. And it's just little things that probably you're gonna need to fix, and then it's gonna be fine. So as soon as I think you start working, it's gonna be done. It's probably a few days, a few hours. I don't think it's a massive work that needs to be done. Tom.
Yeah,
I
so
thought
let's
you
go
wanted to
ahead.
talk. Yes.
Yeah, let's go ahead and put that on the calendar. So Mondays at same time. Is that okay for everyone? That'll be the tech dev team meeting, and that'll be a work session, oriented meeting along the lines of what Manolo said.
That works for me.
Nice. So every Monday we do this tech team, same link. So for those that are not part of the tech team, it's just because you said that you want to be part of the tech team. Okay. So if you want to be part of the tech team, you talk with Tom, Greg, Sam, and you join the team and you say how you want to participate.
I was curious, is there somewhere public where we can see the like the tech team progression, or like what people are working on? I was just thinking it would all be open source, like just constantly, so that it has maximum visibility for cooperation or
Yeah,
collaboration.
that's how I'd like this to be. But there is we need to then there is always, okay, everything is open source, but then it's complex. Okay. There is always these two things. So at the moment, to keep Discord with less room, with less confusion, the tech team room, it's private. But if you genuinely want to be part of it, you can join. The Discord, I don't know how it works. Discord, sorry, not Discord, GitHub. The GitHub should show everything, I guess, even the branches. So I don't know how it works. But so there
It
is the
does.
main, and then we have this development branch that has something different inside. I believe Tom has been cleaning up, so removing what is not. What is old and not used, and in theory on the GitHub you find everything. So the idea for me is to be everything transparent as much as possible, and we can make it's maybe because I'm not good with Discord. Maybe we can make that Discord channel visible to everybody, but can only people inside the team, the tech team, can write in it. So in this way, we work with transparency, but at the same time, we have a functioning group.
Yeah, and so the GitHub does have the existing branches. I've deleted a couple. We do need to eliminate a couple of more. It's not a big deal to have them in there, but once we have the clean installer version that we're working towards, we will clean up all of the branches. There's also a working Kanban board in there with several pull requests and other issues that have been identified. So all of that is on the public GitHub under the Resonant OS repository.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So please, feel free to look there, and if you want to talk about any of those in detail, please line, and we can we can get together. But I think the Monday meeting, key objectives, we have to have the clean installer and also get to that stable feature set, as a few people have kind of echoed here. And, whatever that stable feature set is, get it boiled down, get the installer working so that it's a clean pass from the dev team to testing team or whoever's, installing things. And also, we can stagger the releases to coincide with OpenClaw to make sure that we're not breaking ourselves, on the OpenClaw rock, because inevitably it's going to break something again. And so we just have to stagger in our release notes and say, this is working with this version of OpenClaw, be careful, right? Be mindful of your version of OpenClaw, right?
Yeah.
Or, we build that into the installer to do, OpenClaw version checking. So there's a couple ways to handle that.
Yeah, exactly. Where I was thinking about this problem was like same with Android phone. Okay, so if you have a Google phone, you have the latest version all the time. But if you have, for example, Android get released, but Samsung doesn't release the latest version of Android to their phone because they're waiting to be tested, they're compatible, and so on. So probably we need to do something similar with the Resonant OS, where we only support not the latest version, but the one before. So we get, we stay behind, we test it, and we give to people something that is stable. So that is probably a way to move forward. But again, I believe that at one point the update to OpenCloud is gonna slow down because at the moment we have, I don't know, like 10 updates a month, maybe no, even probably more. It's one every 2 days, okay? Sometimes even one a day. So it's kind of complicated. Momir, you wanted to say something, and then we need to close this call, and it's getting really, really long.
Sorry, I will be just short. I will leave I might be in some help, but maybe not for the moment. I will leave the more capable guys to just finish up at the technical side. I was talking with Simo to maybe open a topic about the communication, about some kind of marketing, some kind of maybe campaigns, preparing DAO, preparing. This is where I can help and when I see myself, and maybe even to open also one work group that might prepare some materials for the Thursday meeting when it's more open and more non-technical. So we give some kind of impression of more prepared and structured and from my side, I'm here to help and I have some very capable agents that can really chew up a lot of materials and bring out nice narratives. I'm big part of my agents are about the narratives. So here I think I can be really useful and contribute also. So this is what been just tackled as a topic with Thimo, and then we can maybe this week is for me a bit tight, but from the next week I'm more than open to maybe uh, create this kind of group and join and help with general communication, giving feedbacks more in some simple way what's being doing, maybe some blog posts, maybe some other social media, whatever we want to organize and also, as you said, prepare DAO, whatever we agree. So just wanted to tell that.
Thank you, Momir. All right, I think we're gonna meet tomorrow, okay? So, so we can carry on the discussion then. Really, thanks a lot for this contribution, and Yeah, if you can make it tomorrow. One more thing, okay? So we were talking about this, the value of what we bring. It's those calls are the value. So tomorrow is the day where you can invite your friends, your family, your colleagues, and share on your whatever social networks, and try to make this community grow with like-minded people. And okay, tomorrow is the day because it's not the technical one, it's the philosophies, the ideas, the concepts, it's the Tao, the community, and so on.